actually had just gone through a merger, and it was a merger of equals with a partner bank to our south. And so we literally, in December of last year, now we're a big believer in employee engagement and had done yearly employee engagement surveys up until this point. So it's a part of our baked in culture that we ask our employees how they feel about, working at LINKBANk. So that was already a part of who we are. But really, with merging another organization into LINKBANk, we really thought it was important to continue that practice. And especially since whenever you go through a merger, it's disruptive. And it's disruptive for the existing organization as well as the organization that's coming on board. So critically important that we were careful in who we selected as a vendor to make sure we could ask the types of questions and get the types of feedback back that would be helpful to the overall organization as it goes forward. Absolutely. It's always important to not only ask, but then to report back what you heard and what you're going to do about it. And we did that almost immediately. We literally had an all bank meeting in the beginning of August, and our survey had cut off at the very end of July. So we literally only had about 5 days in between when the survey cut off and when we had that all bank meeting. But we took all that feedback and we took it out, and then we started the individual kind of leader meetings with their specific data. So, yeah. Well, the ease of understanding the reporting portal. I mean, it was summarized there's so much there, and yet it's summarized in a way that you can grasp it really, really quickly. Just even the way you color code, the higher level engagement scores down to the lower, the more disengaged scores with your color coding system, the way you organize things in a grid, the way you break it down, demographically, reporting managers, team, location, sub-team, and then you can get into obviously like gender, type of employee, et cetera. And the ease of just, it's a point and a click. It reorganizes the data right before your eyes, and you can really drill down and get a feel as you toggle back and forth between those different slices of data, what your employees are telling you and who's telling you what, where some of the voice is coming from. And so I'm not technologically unsavvy, but I'm not a superior technology user, and it's been really easy for me to navigate through and understand the data. So as we are giving access to their manager portal, it's amazing the questions I'm getting back from those folks too as they're navigating through. And it was easy to teach them how to go to specific types of screens to kind of get their data. One other thing I would say too that really lent itself toward us picking CultureMonkey was your willingness to work with us. We have kind of an engagement methodology that we use. We have 7 particular drivers that we think are critically important to engagement. And we worked together in partnership. We used the questions that we have from those engagement drivers, blended with your drivers that you had in areas that also were important to glean information, things like rewards and recognition, growth and development, like wellness and well-being, those types of, and you had such a robust library of questions. So it made it nice for us to blend like, your data and research with our data and research, and really provide a customizable experience for our organization. And that was a superior qualification of CultureMonkey when we were doing our selecting. We wanted to prepare our employees, so we sent out some emails ahead of time so that they knew when they got links from you that the reason they were getting links from you was that creates the anonymity, because they're clicking on a link that doesn't come back to us. It goes through into CultureMonkey and creates that anonymity that's so important to do any kind of engagement survey work. Right. So we did some of that ourselves, but when we were going to launch the actual survey, we had created, it's typical for us, we had created probably a longer email than what you all recommended. And you came back and said, hey, very nicely, as you guys always do, came back and said, hey, we just recommend it's a little bit shorter so people know, and here's the things that you want to make sure it says. And we you guys are the expert in it, so we took that advice and that counsel, and we changed our email as a result of that launched the survey. Yeah, we started, of course, we were so curious. That was another thing that was really great about working with you guys, was we could see live data as data was coming in. So we could read comments, we could see scores, we could see all that, and obviously we could see participation rates. And one thing you all recommended, I think we had decided to keep the survey open approximately 2 weeks. It kind of spanned over a 3 working week in case, because obviously it was in that July timeframe when in our country a lot of people take vacations. And so, but as we got closer to the end date, I think it was Sundaram had made the recommendation to maybe extend through. We were cutting it off, I think, on a Thursday night, and he made the recommendation, I believe, to extend through the weekend, because you all like to see participation rates high, and we were probably in the maybe high 70% or just pushing 80% at the time. And I thought, do we really want to do that? But I thought, you guys have that expertise. You've been great to work with. Need to trust that you know what you're talking about. And it boosted our participation rate by a couple percentage points by leaving it open that final weekend. So it was a great recommendation, suggestion, and it made a difference for us. Well, I just can't say enough for how the customer the portal is so robust. I mean, that your product in and of itself is exceptional. But when you add on to it how you all have worked with us, your patience, your guidance, your responsiveness. Again, there's quite a time difference between where we're located and where you're located. And I never have to wait long when I send an email to receive a response. Even though I don't necessarily always expect a response quickly, I always get one quickly. And so it's really, you've been so responsive, so patient, so kind, so helpful. And when we do have, we had an issue that we were looking at after the survey came back. I think I was comparing a manager portal with our overall my administrative screen, and saw a difference in the one manager scores, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And we came to you all. You said, well, let us research it. Well, we had done a test survey. And of course, you had amalgamated for one of our particular managers who, like 2 of us in the test survey had that manager, and we had responded in the test survey. And then in the general survey, of course, that manager, we responded to the questions too. And so that manager had multiple scores because of the test data. So all you did was pull the test data out, and then obviously the data was pure. So again, even problem solving, quick, efficient, helpful, and got to the root of what the issue was and resolved it. So I just can't say enough for how you've worked with our team.